This is Rahul Magan here as a Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting. As we speak, Treasury Consulting is a multi-asset and multinational hedge fund. By multi-asset, I mean to say I actively covering positions in various asset classes like gold, silver, platinum, palladium, oil, cracks, natural gas, base metals, equity, contract for differences, and various other asset classes. God willing, Treasury Consulting would be adding more asset classes in the near term. But like I repeated many times, and I would continue to repeat all the times, that we are a proprietary hedge fund. By proprietary, I mean to say no third party. I repeat, no third party can invest capital in our fund. Please do take a note that we do not entertain any form of third party investment. Please take a note of that. I don't know many of you knew or not, but I am doing LLB, which means law. And God willing, in another few years, I would be doing LLM also, which is Masters of Law. And you know that I spent 9.5 years in the world of banking. And my LLB and LLM would be more focusing on the criminology, more focusing on arbitration, especially the cross-border arbitrations, and also more focusing on the matters pertaining to the judicial management and all these, which means the technical matters. In Indian context, I would strongly be focusing on the PMLA, which is prevention of money laundering, and also the role of investigating agencies like CBI, ED, and various other investigating agencies. It would definitely take some time to me to comprehend everything and express in the form of videos. So don't expect it would happen tomorrow. But like I said, I am doing LLB. And similarly in the finance, like I did in finance, I would be covering everything in detail. And I would be covering things from a different angle. That's more important thing. Before I start this video, I would like to express my thanks to the Honorable Supreme Court of India and Honorable High Courts of India. My special thanks to the Delhi High Court for their judgment on 354A. You know, 354A, which is IPC, Indian Penal Code 354A, Criminal Procedure, CRPC. And I thank you to Delhi High Court for providing a judgment that 354A cannot be used as a drop of a hat. On time-to-time basis, honorable courts like Supreme Court of India, respective high courts are coming up with their notions. They are expressing their displeasure about the rampant misuse of the acts like 498, 406, 354, 154, and also 156, apart from various other acts which are grossly being misused. In legal parlance, we term this as abuse of process of law. And we should be thankful to the honorable courts for making this point in public on time-to-time basis. Remember that when you are doing law and you wanted to enter in a world of practice, after your studies are complete, please do remember that you should have a habit of learning and interpreting the judgments, especially from Supreme Court and High Courts. Please be note that honorable courts are giving their judgments, their notions, their pleasures, displeasures on a very frequent basis on variety of topics. But it's a highly unfortunate fact that the judgments, the context they are talking, majority of the people are not worried about them. Rather, people seldomly focus on that, but I always express my thanks to the courts that the judgments which they are providing, especially the detailed judgments which they are providing, which are available on the internet, you can easily download from the internet. If you download these judgments from the internet, take a printout and study, you will get an information which I doubt any book would be able to answer. But unfortunately, it's a very hard task. But like I said, after a hard task, you will get something more beautiful, which is called a beautiful knowledge. Today, once again, I downloaded a judgment, by Honorable Supreme Court of India. This judgment is nothing but a kind of SLP. SLP in Indian legal parlance stands Special Leave Petition. Now, this is a Special Leave Petition number 6545 of 2020. Now, this judgment is given by Honorable Supreme Court, and I would like to reach to the few important texts which has been provided by Supreme Court of India. But before I move to this judgment, I would like to let you know that the laws of matrimony are rampant misused in India. And having said that, I got a study from the internet whereby it is said that men who are committing suicides in India because of the fake and frivolous cases are imposed against them. When I studied this whole study which is available on the internet, I was like, guys, you don't believe the kind of figures which being shared in this study. These figures cannot be overlooked. There are few instances in this study which are shared whereby people committed suicide because of fake and frivolous cases against them by women. And unfortunately, they committed suicide. National Crime Record Bureau and respective courts also expressed their displeasure as far as the abuse of process of law is concerned. And with the help of this judgment delivered by Honorable Court, I would like to share few wordings which are shared by the Honorable Court, and they would like to express. In this judgment, if I read to page number 4, Honorable Supreme Court said that provisions of Section 498 Penal Code, IPC, Indian Penal Code, is not unconstitutional and ultra vires. Mere possibility of an abuse of a provision of law doesn't per se invalidate a legislation. Hence, plea that Section 498A has no legal or constitutional foundation is not tenable. I completely in sync with Supreme Court on that. The object of the provision is prevention of the dowry menace, but many instances have come to a light where the complaints are not bona fide and have been filled with oblique motive. In such cases, acquittal of the accused does not, in all cases, wipe out ignominy suffered during the process of the trial. Guys, when fake and frivolous cases are imposed against you, you have to be through a form of cruelty. I would definitely be talking about this form of cruelty in my next video. You have to went through physical cruelty, mental cruelty, legal cruelty, and financial cruelty. Probably I might be wrong. We may have different type of cruelties also. Litigation cost in India is very high. It's not cheap. It's not cheap. In many cases, litigation cost figures are beyond the mind of most of the people. And people can't afford the litigation. And more importantly, when litigation is a time consuming exercise. It is not that today you would be filing a case and tomorrow it would settle. The law will go as per its own course. There are certain procedures and structures that need to be followed, which definitely consume time. Both plaintiff and defendant would express their facts and then court will reach to a conclusion which not only ends up all form of cruelty but also the financial cost, and unfortunately this is beyond the scope of many people. Supreme Court further states that sometimes adverse media coverage adds to the misery. The question, therefore, is what remedial measure can be taken to prevent abuse of well-intentioned provisions. Supreme Court is saying that merely because the provision is constitutional and otherwise doesn't give a license to unscrupulous people to wreak personal vendetta or unleash harassment. You would be very surprised that Honorable Supreme Court of India also talked about cruelty. In fact, the Hindu Marriage Act 1955, HMA shortly in India known as Hindu Marriage Act 1955, Section 24, also talking about cruelty. In fact, cruelty can one of the important factors on which divorce can be granted in India. I repeat, one of the important factors, provided the facts, figures, evidence, videos, audios, or whatever you are producing before the honorable court should be genuine and truthful in nature. No fakeness, no manipulation, nothing like that. In fact, Hindu Marriage Act also saying that if the wife is cruel, then she is not entitled for the maintenance also. But unfortunately, the cruelty is not being covered widely as far as the public domain is concerned. I don't know why the cruelty factor, which has been stressed highly in the Hindu Marriage Act 1955, Honorable Supreme Court of India and respective high courts also stressed on that. Why are we not covering this? And please be note that cruelty is a very important factor. I would like to move further in this judgment and I would like to reach to page number 8. Honorable Supreme Court said, Section 498A was inserted in a state with the laudable objective of punishing cruelty at the heads of judge or husband or his relatives against a wife, particularly when cruelty had potential to result in suicide or murder of a woman, as mentioned in the Statement of Objectives and Reasons of Act 46 of 1983. The expression cruelty in section 498A covers conduct that may drive the woman to commit suicide or cause grave injury, mental or physical, or danger to the life or harassment with a view to coerce her to meet unlawful demand. It's a matter of serious concern that large number of cases, I repeat, it's a matter of serious concern that large number of cases continue to file under already referred to some of the statistics from Crime Records Bureau. Honorable Court also said this court had earlier noticed that fact that most of such complaints are filed in heat of the movement over trivial issue. In English, heat of the movement means you are having an argument, and unfortunately this argument, rather than resolving, it is moving in a reverse direction, and people saying, okay, you wanted to argue with me, I'll file a case against you. Because people feel that case might be a legal weapon. Case might be a legal weapon which can be used to downgrade the person who befores you. Honorable Court said that this court had earlier noticed the fact that most of such complaints, please note court using most of such complaints are filled in the heat of the movement over trivial issues. Many of such complaints are not bona fide. At the time of the filing of complaint, implications and consequences are not visualized. Mental cruelty, physical cruelty, legal cruelty, financial cruelty, endless. Court also said that at times such complaints led to uncalled for harassment, not only to the accused but also to the complainant. Uncalled for arrest may ruin the chances of settlement. Guys, cruelty is a most important factor. If you are facing 498A, probably 406 and 354A, and I would like to once again thank you to the Delhi High Court for their landmark statement, at least to me, as far as the 354A is concerned. It is very important for you to stress on the word cruelty. But please understand and please note that when you are stressing a word cruelty, you should have a strong evidence in that regard. And when I'm saying a strong evidence, I mean to say it has to be equal, it has to be fair, and it should not be manipulated at any cost. But yes, if it is fair, equal, and genuine, then cruelty is one of the factors which legally can be your weapon. Because unfortunately, the rampant misuse of these acts reached at a level when even the Honorable Supreme Court needs to interfere and needs to write such words, which at least to me is a concern. Because if the Honorable Court, Supreme Court of India, is using these words, then think about the situation at trial court. Because not every case move to Supreme Court. Not every case moves to Supreme Court. Supreme Court is the highest branch of judicial framework we have in India. Not every case moves to Supreme Court. But if Supreme Court itself is writing these words and expressing their concern, it means something. It means something. At least to me, and I again would like to thank the Supreme Court for expressing their concern and giving such landmark judgments so that in future also the accused who did nothing, they being caught in fake and frivolous cases, they can refer these judgments in the trial courts, probably session courts, probably high courts, and prove their point. Of course, alongside the facts and the figures. In this document, Honorable Court explained cruelty. According to the law laid down by Supreme Court in various judgments, there are three types of cruelty. One is physical, example, violent conduct causing pain to the spouse. The second is mental, which makes it impossible to reasonably expect one spouse to put up with a conduct complained of and live with other. Third is the legal cruelty. Legal cruelty means endless cases you are filing in the court. It has been a trend in India that 498A, 406, 354, 156.3, whatever case comes in your mind, just go ahead. Just go ahead. So that the person on the other side would reach at a level when he has to bow down. He left with no option. He has to bow down or he has to reach towards the settlement. Why? 5 and 6 cases has been imposed against him and now he has to bow down because the legal cost is beyond imagination. I would like to request Supreme Court to kindly consider one important factor, which is financial cruelty also. Probably soon I would be filing a public interest litigation in Supreme Court of India regarding financial cruelty. I am collating the data from the internet, making my case, and God willing, I would be filing the PIL in Supreme Court of India with facts and figures. But in the meantime, I would like to request Supreme Court of India to kindly consider the financial cruelty also. And I would like to express my opinion in this regards. Today we are in 2022. You please open the Google and see that there is hardly any company who is not cutting jobs. Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft, even fact companies like Apple, HP, Cisco, Intel, Seagate, Tesla, Twitter, the list is very, very long. So the people, those who are working in organizations, whether this is Indian organization or different organizations, they are having a fear in their mind. And what is that fear? The fear of losing job. So you are not living in an era when you can just leave the job and the second job is waiting for you. No, not at all. You are not living in this era. It's not about India, it's about worldwide. There is no country who is an excuse that here you have jobs. No, it's a worldwide. Depression is worldwide. And suppose in this era when your jobs are not safe, when your appraisals are not safe, when your remuneration are not safe, when your job security is not safe, when you are so much stressed that you never knew that when your employer would call you and say that, guys, please don't come from tomorrow. You never knew that. In this eventuality, if your spouse to put endless cases against you, like Honorable Supreme Court himself agreed to the point that the cases are put in a heat of a moment over a trivial issue, then the second party would face financial cruelty. You have your kids, you have your EMIs of home, car loan, education loan, probably different kind of loans. And to make the life worse, the legal cases. You have to hire a counsel. That counsel won't be cheap. That counsel would be costing you. The counsel would be costing you in terms of time, in terms of effort, in terms of money. And you always stressed as far as your job is concerned. It collectively ends up as a financial cruelty. And this financial cruelty may even impact you mentally, may even degrade your health. It may even degrade your, I would say, your work commitment. It may even degrade your sleeping. It may even degrade the way you are living. I would like to request Honorable Court to kindly consider this factor as well. Probably, God willing, if soon, once I would file the PIL, public interest litigation, I would be requesting the court to kindly consider this. But having said that, court also said that according to Supreme Court, cruelty is a conduct about or in respect of matrimonial conduct, in respect of matrimonial obligations. Unfortunately, I can't describe matrimonial obligations. It's a very large thing to express because there are so many things that comes under matrimonial obligations. Supreme Court said that it is a conduct which adversely affect the spouse. Such cruelty can either mental, physical, intentional, or unintentional. Supreme Court gave an example. For example, unintentionally waking your spouse in the middle of a night may be a mental cruelty. The intention is not an essential element of cruelty, but it may be present. Physical cruelty is less ambiguous and more of a question of a fact and degree. Guys, please do understand that in the matrimonial cases, if you are suffering, please stress on a word cruelty as far as your litigation is concerned. We have the judgments from the honorable courts. We have the facts which are provided by the honorable courts. But having said that, one thing which we should remember and should not forget is the authenticity of the information. That has to be correct. Please note that the authenticity, the accuracy should not be compromised at any cost. So please don't think that if I'm stressing on a word cruelty, then I'm talking about the compromise. I'm talking about fake evidence. No, I'm talking about no fake evidence, no compromise. Everything has to be genuine. But having said that, we should focus on cruelty. Cruelty is a very important factor. Even Hindu Marriage Act 1955 specifically talking about cruelty. This is what I would like to request. But having said that, I can just imagine the kind of legal and the financial cruelty the people went with. This is irreparable in nature. I don't think there is any mathematical formula which we can devise, which can help us to compute this. But in IPC, Indian Penal Code, we are having something called malicious prosecution, which means the cases are filed with a malicious intent. We can definitely take the help of that, and probably soon I would be covering the malicious prosecution, Indian Penal Code. But in the meantime, please note that if you have any evidence of cruelty, of course genuine, you please put before the Honorable Court and try that you or your counsel, either or maybe together, try to request court to beam through it. There are various clauses. There are various, we have CRPC various section, which is criminal procedures we do have, which gives you as an accused a right to speak before the honorable court and request the magistrate or the judge to listen to these factors, and magistrate or judge is empowered to even defame you also, provided they feel that the facts and the figures which you are presenting are genuine and it's a sort of malicious prosecution. But thank you very much. At the end, I once again express my thanks to Supreme Court of India, my thanks to Honorable High Courts, my thanks to the Apex Court for noting down these points. But yes, I wish if Honorable Supreme Court would kindly consider the financial cruelty also, and if possible, the Apex Court would lay some guidelines, some factors as far as the financial cruelty is concerned. It would be very, very helpful for the society. This is what I can request to Honorable Supreme Court of India. Thank you very much. This is Rahul Magan from Trishi Consulting Group. You knew my personal number, +91 9899 242 978. In case you want more information, you can visit our fixed income platform www.fixedincome.global. Let me repeat, www.fixedincome.global.